Fight fans, welcome back to Carl Prusa MMA. I'm Carl Prusa today, and with a returning guest to the show. This time, he's victorious. Just fought on the weekend over in Australia, and big finish victory against Cody Brundage. He is the Battle Giraffe. He is Mr. Cam Rowston. Cam, congratulations on the win. How you been?
Thanks for having me on. Yeah, it's good. Been very good. Just chilling now, taking some time to relax before I go back to the gym and start it all over again.
Absolutely. Before the fight, we talked how excited you were to be able to fight in Sydney. In their fight week, doing all the pre-fight stuff, was it kind of a surreal feeling knowing you got to fight in your home area?
It was, it was a magical kind of week leading up to it. Had a lot of friends come and visit me before the fight, and a lot of friends afterwards, and they were all there as well watching. So it was really good.
Now, obviously, in that fight, I mean, you went out there, looked dominant, got a big finish in that second round. Walk me through the last few moments before that finish.
Those last few moments, like it was. I remember as he shot in, and then everything, like his entry into the shot and like the position he landed in, it was everything that I drilled with my coaches, with Brogan and Eugene, and then so I was just like on autopilot. I knew exactly the counter I needed to do, what position would end up in after the counter, and then as I was just getting close to the finish, and he was kind of like, I could feel him fading. I could hear Eugene yell out 1 minute to go, and I thought to myself, I'm like, I'm not going to a third round. I'm getting him out of here. I want that 25K finish bonus. I'm going hard.
Speaking of the 25K finish bonus, one of the fun things about Paramount, now that anyone who gets a finish gets some sort of bonus. Is that something pretty cool? You think that's just awesome for everybody involved?
No, I think it's fantastic. It's just showing that as the eyes on the sport get bigger, the athletes as well are going to get more and more money. We're already treated pretty well during fight week and like outside of camp and stuff like that, but now we're being compensated even better. And if you're a guy who gets finishes in his fight, you're gonna be paid for it. They want the exciting fighters, and those who are exciting and willing to put it on the line are gonna be compensated for that.
You've shown throughout your whole career, man, when you go in there, you're looking for the finish. You're a very fun fighter to watch. You're always trying to do something to finish the fight. Has that just been your whole thing from the beginning? Did you just take a lot of pride in that mentality?
Yeah, that's just how I don't know. That's just how it's been. I've always just kind of never really played it safe. Like every time I go in for a move, I go in for a combo or go to touch him, it's always to put him away. It's never just to carry it through and cruise to a decision. It's always, it's like the schoolyard. You can't win a fight in the schoolyard if you're both standing there at the end of the fight. You only win a fight by finishing it.
One thing I love about the watching fights in Australia is the crowd. I mean, they always have such a crazy crowd. How loud and nuts was it after when you got that finish? Could you even hear anything?
Oh, the pop was crazy. Even when I walked out, like I walked out to a pretty classic Australian song, and I had like a pretty good pop when I walked out. But then, yeah, as I was getting close to the finish, and the ref was saying, fight back or move or whatever he was saying right before he stopped it, I could hear the crowd getting louder and louder, and then I could just hear Eugene over that saying finish, and it was unreal.
Obviously that night, Alex Volkanovski, a training partner, a teammate of yours, went out there, did it again, beat Diego, really looking invincible right now, one of the best in that division, probably the GOAT, that 145-pound division. Is it pretty cool that you were able to find the same card and watch that?
Oh, it was like it was the whole week was awesome. Just seeing him, how he does everything during fight week, like how he water loads all his diet, how he gets ready for training before we train during fight week, and like how he handles all the media and all that and all the obligations and stuff. It was a good insight.
I think one thing that makes him so good is, his mental. He is so mentally strong. You can see he's walking out there, he's laughing, pointing at people. Obviously, you've done a lot of training with him, Adesanya, these other guys. When you're dealing with these guys who've been there, done that, do you learn any of the mental? Does any of that stuff rub off on you? Do you learn tricks to how to better suit it?
Yeah, I think one thing I've learned from like him and Izzy and like Carlos and Dan and stuff is just like you don't have to be super serious the whole week. Like you can have a joke, but like they're so good at switching from A to B, like switching from just being Alex Volkanovski to then being, Alex Volkanovski, the UFC fighter. He's so good at doing that. That's just why he's a professional.
Absolutely. So I just noticed after the fight, I believe on Instagram, you had some stories of some country music. Are you a big country fan?
I'm a big fan. I got to see Chris Stapleton twice last year, once in Auckland and then once in Denver, Colorado. Saw Jordan Davis, Luke Combs. We got Jordan Davis is actually coming back to Auckland soon at the end of March. There's a lot of people and a lot of country artists coming into New Zealand and Australia now, and it's I'm there for it for sure, 100%.
Absolutely. Another kind of cool thing on this card for you, Torres Finney, a guy that you had fought before, was on the same card as you. Obviously, weird situation for him. Went out there, got hurt, didn't go his way. What did you think of that? What do you think of his fight?
I'll be honest, I haven't watched it yet because I was warming up when that was going on, so I was trying to like focus in. But I did see some of the highlights and obviously his knee as well. It's unfortunate that happens like quite early in a fight and you have to fight compromised like that. A lot of fighters go in compromised already into the fight and maybe they make it worse during the fight. So yeah, that's unfortunate from him. He might have had that already going in and then just like completely blew it out, which is you never want to see that. Like you never want to see someone just get hurt from a fight or during a fight. It's unfortunate.
We talked about before the amount of sacrifices that takes to be a professional martial artist. Obviously, to make the UFC is a crazy climb. And when you're in the UFC, you're still sacrificing every single day to keep this thing afloat. Now you're in there, 2 fights, 2 victories, 2 finish victories, 2 guys who are names in that division. After this last one, were you able to kind of reflect and look back at the journey and be like, this whole thing, it's been worth it?
Yeah, it's nice to look back now and think about like the position I was in maybe 2 years ago or a year ago, and just look back and kind of stretch my arms a little bit, not get too comfortable, but just smile that the position has improved a lot since then.
For you, man, what's next in the perfect world? I mean, how active do we want to be?
I would love to get another fight before the middle of the year. I know they have International Fight Week, start of June, mid-June. I would love to fight before then. So I would really, that's kind of like the middle of the calendar year for the UFC. That's like their big like middle, and like I would love to fight before then because then I know I've got 2 fights done before the middle of the calendar year. If that fight goes well, then who knows? Maybe another 2 fights on the second half of the UFC calendar year. So big 2026.
Absolutely. First win Petruski, second win Brundage. 2 guys a lot of people have seen, 2 guys who have fought ranked guys in the past. Do you feel like you're getting close to that 15? You think maybe 1, 2 more, you could be in the top 15 yourself?
I reckon I'm going to say 2 more. I don't think 1 more. I'd say 2 more, and then they're giving me someone in the top 15. They might give me someone who's been in the top 15 next, or the following fight after I demolish whoever's next, they'll give me someone, a former top 15. But I'm looking forward to just having a huge year and just kind of announcing myself as a force in the division.
Are you starting to notice a difference, like on social media, maybe going out in public, maybe more followers, more recognition, more tags? You starting to notice anything?
There was a little bit as I was when I got up the next day. It was a Monday morning in Sydney after the fight, and I was walking around the city. There was a few people that noticed me, and I got some photos with them, and they were real happy. They were real cool to talk to. But other than that, no, not really. I go back to New Zealand, and like the only people that get noticed in New Zealand are Dan because he's got bleached hair and about 1,000 tattoos, and then Israel because he's 6'4" and he's black.
One thing I think a lot of people like about watching you fight is obviously the hairstyle. You got that mohawk or whatever you want to call it. What was the whole background behind that? When did you start doing that?
I originally had that after I fought Torres. That I lost that fight, and I was like, you know what? I always wanted to rock the haircut, but I was like, it's a bit too much. But now I was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do whatever I want now. And then I went with that haircut, and man, I had it for the next, I think, 2 fights after that, and it worked like a charm. So I was like, I'll just run with it. I was always a big Chuck Liddell fan. You know, he was one of the first guys that I watched fight. That was and that's just like, you know, Chuck Liddell he's up here. He's on the Mount Rushmore. So that's a bit of an ode to Chuck Liddell. I'm going to borrow that one from him.
Absolutely, man. You know, at this point in the career, man, what's the goal? Are we looking to get the top 15? Are we looking to win the title? What do you want to accomplish here?
I think it's got to be the belt. You got to have your eyes on the top spot, because if you don't, you're just going to get hurt in this sport. Like it's not like basketball. It's not like golf. It's not like tennis where you just, you know, you're kind of happy just to be there, just to play and get some court time. You got to aim for the top, because then you're going to train as hard as possible, and that's going to keep you safe. It's not going to compromise your health. It's not going to get you in any danger.
Absolutely. You know, I really feel like you're becoming a fan favorite. A lot of it's have to do with the way that you fight. So far, you fought in the Apex, obviously on the Contender Series, 2 fights in UFC, Australia, live crowds. Do you like one or the other? Are you hoping to maybe stay in this stadium type of environment going forward?
I love to fight in front of the crowd. I mean, the Apex is awesome. It's so easy when you go there. Like, you stay 5 minutes down the road in a hotel, and like it's just like everything's so convenient. But I also love to fight in front of a crowd. Like that's one of the big reasons I do it. So if the stadium shows are still there and I'm getting offered them, I'm definitely taking those.
Absolutely. Just one thing I want to do is I want to talk about some fights coming up, like we usually do. I want to get your predictions now that we're going to watch some big fights coming up. So this weekend we got a big one. We got Mario Bautista, Vinicius Oliveira, big main event of an Apex show. Who wins that one?
Oh, I'm going to go with Mario Bautista. I've watched him a few times. He's a dog. He's an absolute dog. He's got a crazy gas tank on him.
So then we got Sean Strickland taking on Fluffy Hernandez in Houston in a couple of weeks. Who wins that?
Oh, that's a good fight, I think, for both guys, to be honest. Like, Hernandez was, I believe, was he originally scheduled to fight someone else before this fight?
Was it Ritter?
That's right. Yeah, I was looking forward to that fight a lot, but this Strickland fight is going to be really good. But I got to go with Hernandez, man. He's an unstoppable force. That, again, like another guy with just a crazy gas tank and just is unbelievable grappling. So I'm going to go with Hernandez.
You know, obviously both of those guys middleweights. When these middleweights are fighting, are you paying extra attention to that?
Yeah. I'm switching it on. I'm watching it. I'm getting a few of the boys. We get around and we have a couple beers and some barbecue and we watch it, and we have fun while we watch it, but we're watching it very closely.
Absolutely. The last one I want to get into is we got a big one here, UFC 326. Charles Oliveira is taking on Max Holloway, BMF title up for grabs. Who wins it?
Oh man, I've been looking forward to this fight. That's when they announced that one. It's the last time they fought, I think Charles went down with the pinched nerve or the stinger in his neck. So I think Charles, he's going to want to get that one back for sure. I'm gonna go with my boy Charles.
You know, some guys and some athletes, once they make it to the biggest stage of all, they do it for a living, but not everyone is a fan. Some people get sick of it when they're not doing it. They don't want to watch it. For you, I mean, has this even fueled your fandom even more?
Yeah, definitely. I was, before I even started training MMA, I was a big fan. Just watching it on TV, watching Pride, watching a little bit of Strikeforce, watching the UFC, the Ultimate Fighter. I was watching it for a few years before I started doing it. And now that I'm doing it and I'm a fan, it's really cool to watch it and be like, oh, he's doing that move, or he's doing this move, or I know this guy trained with that guy, and like I can kind of connect the dots a little bit more and just kind of, I guess, nerd out on it.
You mentioned earlier you've been watching this for a fan for a long time, Pride, Strikeforce, all that stuff. It's kind of crazy to think, so many of us started watching the first, second season of The Ultimate Fighter. You had Pride, WEC, Strikeforce, all these cool shows going on. At that time, MMA wasn't what it was, though. You weren't making as much money in it. It wasn't legal in every state, legal in every country. People, if you said you were a fighter, they thought you were crazy and belonged in prison or something. Now we're at a point where it's one of the biggest sports in the world, and it's only getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Are you surprised to see where it's come and how it's evolved in like 20-something years?
Yeah, it's moved really fast. Like it's from where it was, 30 years ago, it's to being illegal, and now one of the biggest sports ever. It's crazy, and like the development of the skill and like everything that's happening inside the cage as well is incredible. And in another 30 years, who knows where the sport's going to go? Like it's insane.
Absolutely. All right, last question, Cam. So we still got a lot of 2026 left, 11 months left. In the perfect world, how does this year play out for you?
Perfect world, 2 more wins. Okay, I'm hoping for 3 more, but 2 more is the perfect world. 3 would be a bonus, and 2 of those 2 wins, 2 finishes. Keep bringing in those 25K bonuses.
Well, now if you get the fight of knockout of the night, it's a 100K bonus, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's 100K bonus for knockout of the night, performance of the night. But man, like when I saw the card and the fighters who were on the card with me, I was like, oh, it's gonna be a tough ask to get knockout of the night and performance of the night. I was like, damn, it's tough. There's gonna be a lot of people pushing for that.
There you go. Okay, man. Thank you so much. Congratulations again, and look forward to talking to you again next time.
No worries. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's it for us today. I'm Cody Brundage. He is the Battle Giraffe. He is Mr. Cam Rowston. Take care, fight fan.